we're partnering with RCTC this month to bring, this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's actually also National Crime Victims Week. So we're bringing a series of events here to really raise awareness around sexual violence. But our main focus for this month has been around prevention. So not just raising awareness as to what sexual violence is, but more shifting our focus to how do we start preventing it. And the only way to prevent sexual violence, because in the job that I do, we do a whole lot of intervention. So it's working with people after something has happened. And actually we've become pretty good at that. We've done a lot of policies and changes. We've become very good at the intervention, but that's never going to stop the problem. So we really operate from an assumption that it can be stopped, it can be shifted. In order to do that, though, we really have to start looking at some of the reasons why it's so prevalent and what in our society keeps lending to it happening over and over again. Women and men, just again, the statistics bear out that men are more likely to be the perpetrators than women, though certainly the opposite is true. But we talk a lot about how women can keep themselves safer. We spend very little time talking about how perpetrators can stop doing that. What, again, about the college environment, what about drinking, really helps play into a lot of sexual assault.
Can you share the story about Kobe Bryant and bringing it more recent with the DNA that was in that case?
Yeah, does everybody know of the Kobe Bryant case? Has anybody heard about how he was brought up on rape charges? This was about 5 years ago. Anybody know what happened with that case?
Wasn't it they had sex and she later recanted or did that said in the video? She basically changed her mind afterwards and said that she didn't.
It's not exact. No, it's not exactly. But I think that's the perception. A lot of the perception. Does anybody know what did happen with that case? And that's the part. It kind of just disappeared. Yeah. Do you know what happened?
I thought they said that they did have sex, but later the case got dismissed because they found out that she had numerous sperms in her. Basically, she slept with a lot of other guys as well.
Well, not quite. So what ended up happening, and to be honest, I didn't know until one of my coworkers went to a training in Texas with one of the prosecutors on the case. And what ended up happening is that actually it was an incredibly strong case. Incredibly strong. They had DNA, they had strangulation marks on her neck, they had vaginal and anal tears, a lot of physical evidence. And she was really excited about the case. You don't normally get that in a sexual assault. Usually there's no physical evidence. It becomes more of a what we would say he said, she said. A lot of what we saw in the video, someone saying. So they were very excited. But what happened is that the victim in this case was just torn apart. The whole conversation, even in the community and in society, became what was she doing? Why did she go up to his room to have a drink? And then how many partners she'd ever slept with in the past. They just dug into her past to the point where she finally said, I refuse to testify. I can't go through this anymore. My life is shredded. Her name was leaked to the paper. It shouldn't have been by law. No one should have known even her name. It was leaked to the paper. Everybody knew who she was. They were looking into every partner that she'd ever had and displaying that all over the newspapers. And so finally she told the prosecutors, I refuse. I won't testify. And they had to dismiss the charges very unhappily. The prosecutors really wanted this one to go forward, actually. So, but it's interesting because that was never really part of the conversation. That huge story never seemed to make it. He just kind of, what we assumed, kind of went away. And I, even in my office, I didn't really know what had happened. I thought, oh, maybe charges are dropped. I wasn't quite sure because that did not get the same attention as her personal life received at all. And that's a lot about when we talk about still the problem that exists with sexual violence, is that that's where we direct a lot of our attention to what we call victim blaming. What was she doing? Why did she drink that much? All those questions we ask instead of why did he do that? Why did he think that by giving her alcohol that would make her more receptive to having sex? Is that truly consensual? What does consent really mean? And so that's where we're trying to kind of shift some of the focus away from the behavior of the victim to why do we continue to support these things? That it's okay at a party if it's really funny and everybody just watches someone be taken upstairs when they're stumbling and not talking, and you know that they're so drunk that they're actually at that point any sexual encounter is going to be considered non-consensual because they're well beyond the ability to give consent. You could even see in the beginning of the video some of the comments. I don't know if anyone else was a little disturbed by some of the comments that were said, but they were a little upsetting. You know, it's a little mix-up, a little miscommunication. I mean, I work with victims every day in my office, and the impact of that is not just a slight, wow, that was a minor mix-up. No, these are life-changing things that happen to somebody. And these people are not all potential, predators. As we're talking, these are the views that a lot of us hold. Yeah, if she's going to get really drunk, she's going to expect something like that, right? Girls are kind of stupid, said the one. Russian girls are just dumb, and they don't know what what they're doing. Really? Is that the largest problem that we have here? We were here last week, and we set up a big sign that said sex, and how do you say yes, and how do you say no, to kind of promote this event. And people, they struggle. I mean, people laugh. It's not something we talk about maybe in our little pockets of friends, but it's not something we're talking about like, oh, how do you say yes? How do you communicate when you want to have sex? It's not the conversations we're normally having with teachers or in classes at all.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and this year we're focusing on prevention with the belief that sexual violence is not inevitable, that there is something we can do to prevent it, that it can be stopped. And in order to really begin recognizing that, there has to be a shift in the way that our whole culture operates. Right now, we all participate in sexual violence to some degree. Through the videos we watch, through the music that we listen to, the ads that we choose to, where we buy the products of ads that promote sexual violence. So there really has to be a shift in our whole culture. And in order to do that, we need to be looking at the issue of sexual violence a little bit differently. Not so much of how to remain safe or how to protect ourselves, but rather what are those underlying messages that make it okay to make it happen so frequently. So we're starting to look at bystander, when you're with friends, how to understand what someone else's line is, where they, do they want to be going off with someone else, they're drinking. So you can be aware as a friend and helping them. And also recognizing for yourself what is your line, what are you comfortable with, when have you gone beyond it, and letting other people know that, again, so that they can help support that. So it's really a community effort. Not one of us is going to be able to stop us, and not even a group of us. It's going to be able to people stop committing the crimes. And again, that's going to be supported by an entire shift when we recognize that sexual violence is not just a stranger jumping out and assaulting someone else. It's part and parcel, again, of all these messages of the way in which our society is actually structured right now. Power imbalance still exists in our culture. So we need to shift all these things. So in order to stop sexual violence, the emphasis must remain on prevention, and that's what we are focused on.
The activities Victim Services had with the RCTC year. How do you say yes and how do you say no? Answer the question and you'll get popcorn. Did you know that the majority of sexual assaults occur in the summer? So be safe, be aware, and remember, no.
These are things that people have come up with for how to just say no.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you could have picked up from here and decided. Yeah. So I just didn't know if whether or not I mean, I think I wanted to ask.
And here are some ways that people have come up with to just say yes.
Here we are at the end of our time helping out today. We've got many, many, many things wrote. The students here at RCTC and Winona were great helping us out.